What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my tag team partner, BrianTronic. What's going on, man?
Let me tell you something, Huey. We're back for another week, dude.
Of course. It must be WrestleMania season if you're busting out the impressions.
Every year I like to come back around this time, dude, and lift that stinky giant, slam him right in the middle of that ring, dude.
I can't believe that was 2 years ago. You kept saying that every day when we were in LA for WrestleMania 39. That's all you kept saying. Lift that stinking giant and power slam him. Body slam him to the ground. Man. Oh, man, that was fun. I can't believe, man, time's flying fast. I mean, that was an epic trip. I mean, the fact that our room was next door to Ken Shamrock and we were walking down the hall. He was coming towards us. So I'm like, oh my God, it's the world's, what was his old nickname? Baddest man in the
world's most dangerous man.
Well, yeah, Mike Tyson's baddest man. So yeah. World's most dangerous man's coming at us. We're like, oh my God. And I remember me and Tommy and my brother Tommy were just like, hey, what's up, kid? Hey, how's it going? Just let him go right by us. And then remember we were in the elevator another night and it was Greg the Hammer Valentine. Oh, man. It looked like he was having fun that night and whatever he was doing. He was a little he looked tired. That's all I'll just say. So Who knows? It must have been a late night for him. So, because we were staying at that exact hotel where WrestleCon was being held. So all these wrestlers that were appearing at WrestleCon were in this hotel, walking around the lobby, or we see them on different floors in the elevators passing by. So it was fun, man. God, I can't believe that was 2 years ago now. So, but yeah, as we said at the top of the show, we're on the road to WrestleMania, man. And so we're back at it once again, talk about the highlights from Raw and SmackDown and some clickbait news as well. But Brian, we should mention real quick for the Kliqsters who are watching us on YouTube. First off, thank you. If you listen to the audio version, I get it. Sometimes people are just audio people. I mean, you're not visual people, or they're busy and they just like to listen to our voices in the background. If you have a chance or you're watching this on YouTube right now, how cool is that? We got a brand new intro made finally. So we debuted the audio version, just the audio only, last week. Finally, we got a video version, the graphic that I was teasing last week that we were working on, but I got it returned quickly. So that's like, our first version right there. So it's out there now. Check it out. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. What do you think of our new intro? So I do want to shout out my buddy, my good friend, my coworker over at 1077 The Bone. Also, he's a host and the creator of Soundwaves TV, our radio program, local show on The Bone, Soundwaves FM. He's a DJ at The Bone. My boy, Dennis Willis. So thank you, Dennis. He's a audio video editor extraordinaire. So thank you, Dennis, for making that new intro for us. So very cool. I've been watching it over and over. I'm like, oh my God, how cool seeing the In The Kliq logo, like move around, motion, graphics. Like it was just so cool. So I showed him my brother. He was like, oh man, it kind of looks like the beginning of a sports show or it's like Sports Center or ESPN or something. So very happy for that. So once again, thank you, Dennis, for making that for us. But yes, all right, Brian, well, let's jump right into it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's gonna be an action-packed show. Once again, thank you, Kliqsters, for tuning in. Please give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We finally hit 1,000 subscribers a couple months ago. Let's keep that momentum going, get more subscribers, build this channel up, the community up, everything. All you Kliqsters out there. Share the video as well, the podcast, all that good stuff. Follow us on social as well at In The Kliq. All right, first things first, some clickbait news. And man, Brian, in the last couple of days, quite a bit of news stories have been breaking in the world of pro wrestling. Also, just some events have been announced, and there's been like a lot of conversation online about the build to WrestleMania, which we'll touch on that in a second as well. But first things first, some exciting news. Congrats to WWE legends, the Natural Disasters. It was announced, I believe, yesterday officially they will be inducted in this year's class for the WWE Hall of Fame. And I'm looking at the actual website here. Yes, the Natural Disasters will be inducted into WWE's Hall of Fame class of 2025. So very cool. It's going to be Earthquake and Typhoon or Tugboat or Shockmaster, aka Uncle Fred to Cody Rhodes, Fred Ottman. So Earthquake, John Tenta, and Typhoon, Fred Ottman. Legendary tag team. I mean, they got big. They came together as a tag team in the late 90s. Oh yeah, was he the Shark in WCW, John Tenta? But yeah, they came together in the late 90s, and they took over the tag team division during that time. And I love that they were like combined weight was like 900 pounds, and they would get the tag team gold in WWE. They had great matches with Money Inc., Legion of Doom, and the Nasty Boys during their run as champions. And there's a whole article about this on WWE.com. So Brian, I'll turn it to you, man. What's your first reaction of Natural Disasters going into the Hall of Fame?
So I good for them, you know.
Yes.
I didn't watch them too much. I wasn't really a fan of the Natural Disasters.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that this spot should have been reserved for Johnny Grunge and Rocco Rock. Okay. We got our boy Lex Luger going into the Hall of
You
Fame.
said Johnny Grunge?
Yeah. Look at me, man.
In WCW, oh my God.
We got Lex Luger going in there. I figured, hey, why not put another legendary WCW act in the Hall of Fame? And let's give it to the Public Enemy.
They're both, oh my God, I forgot that they're both dead, unfortunately. Man, Johnny Grunge passed away in 2006 and Rocco Rock in 2002. Wow.
I used to love their, not to take away from the Natural Disasters. Nah.
See, I remember that too, clearly. Oh my God.
Not to take away from the Natural Disasters. I remember John Tenta.
Yeah.
I remember his big match with Boss Man for, what was it? It was hair versus hair? And then whatever hair Tenta had left, Boss Man just cut it off. He started snipping away at it. Snip, you know? And who's the other guy? Which one of them was the one who jumped in the ring like that?
Well, Earthquake was, because that was his, when he started out. So Earthquake, okay. For anyone who may be a little bit younger or doesn't know who John Tenta is,
I remember playing with him on the Royal Rumble video game on Sega. And that was one of his things. He'd run, like whenever you'd get to the next character, he'd run and then he'd like jump in the ring like this.
I was just gonna say, if you want to learn more about John Tenta, I believe it was last season or season before, they did an episode about him on Dark Side of the Ring. Check it out. For like a 45-minute episode, without the commercial stuff. They do a good job just summing up who he is, his career. So if you want to learn more about his backstory, unfortunately he passed away. What year did he pass? Actually, how long ago did he pass away? 2006. Yeah. Unfortunately, but so on Dark Side of the Ring, they have his wife and his two kids on there, explain who he is and his friends and stuff, talking about it. Sounds like he was just an amazing, nice guy. Despite his big look, he was just such a nice guy. He's got to start in Japan. He was a sumo wrestler turned wrestler, pro wrestler. And it was just cool kind of hearing the stories of him bouncing around with Japan to WWF. And, he was brought in as like the next big monster to take on Hogan. And then eventually he's transitioned into a tag team with Typhoon. And then went to WCW and was the Shark with the Dungeon of Doom with Kevin Sullivan. And but he came off of this big menacing monster, but behind closed doors in his personal life, he was such a nice guy apparently. And I mean, the big thing with him also, he just looks so much older for his age. As you can see, look at his photos. He was balding at a young age, but like when he was in WWF, he was like in his mid to late 20s, but he looked like he was in his 40s. So that was the only thing. It's just he looked older for his age, but he was fun. Just as someone young when I was growing up. I mean, when he was in WWF and when Natural Disasters formed, I was 7 years old. So that was like late 90s or sorry, late 1990. And so Typhoon, yeah, man, he's been around too. He was Tugboat, then Typhoon, Shockmaster in WCW.
Yeah.
And then but yes, he is his real name is Fred Ottman, but yes, he's Cody Rhodes' uncle. And if you look online, there's a promo of Uncle Fred and I believe it was Tony Schiavone at a house, and you see a young Cody Rhodes in the segment. He's like babysitting a bunch of his nieces and nephews, and Cody Rhodes is there. So it's very funny. I saw that on Instagram yesterday, so that was funny to see that. Awesome. But yeah, no, I was a little shocked that they were getting in this year. I mean, I guess Fred kind of leaked it, I think last week, the week before, he's doing an interview and said, oh yeah, I'm doing this Hall of Fame thing. So he kind of revealed it early. I thought, if you're watching the video on YouTube, I thought I'm wearing my brand new Demolition shirt. I thought Demolition was going to be the tag team because that's what WWE Hall of Fame. They get like a tag team in every year. I thought Demolition was going to be the ones because wasn't it reported a couple months ago they just signed new Legends deals with WWE. So I thought, oh, maybe they're coming in. And then was it announced today or yesterday that Crush, his family, Brian Adams, his family signed a Legends deal as well?
A Legends deal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and who you don't know, he became the third member for Demolition before he went on to singles run as Crush, like the Pineapple Crusher, and then he became part of Dio or was it DOA?
Apocalypse? Yeah, DOA.
Yeah, the Apocalypse. Yeah, it's the little motorcycle club on WWE television. He was great. And then when he went over to WCW, him and Adam Bomb formed was it Chronic? Dude, that was a badass tag team. Those two monsters, because they were like just swole and like ripped and like remember that
Ron Adams, he was wasn't he in NWO too at one point?
I think so. Yes, I think so.
I think he was part of the B team NWO with Scott Norton and
NWO 2000. Yeah. But that's the thing too. Like, keep in mind, remember I was gonna say with Chronic, they had like the shiny outfits, the ring gear. Like, remember in like the mid to late 90s, like a lot of wrestlers were wearing like their ring gear was like that shiny like pleather. Almost like plastic. I mean, Booker T had it for a while.
Whenever I play WWE 2K, I still make my created wrestler. I still make their gear shiny.
I think that's
a shiny looking.
That's a detail you can do. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
So, the jacket, I do the jacket shiny, the trunks shiny, the knee pads.
What was that? I would love to talk to Booker T or something. And like, what? Like, I mean, I get it. It's like a 90s fashion thing, late 90s fashion thing in wrestling. But like, who started that? Like that, like leather shiny.
That's actually a good question.
It just everyone had it. DDP had it.
Lenny Lane had it.
It was like they moved on from like spandex or like, you know, that nylon material to that for a few years. Rey Mysterio, he had the pants. Question. Yes, please leave a comment if you know who started that official trend of like the shiny pants and ring gear and stuff. Wow. So, but no, all things considered, congrats to Natural Disasters. You know, just it's another tag team from my childhood making it in. But that's cool. So they're gonna go in along with, as we mentioned last week, Triple H, Lex Luger, and Michelle McCool. I don't know if that's it. If they're gonna announce another induction as well. I mean, do they still do the celebrity wing as well?
You know, I don't know. Did they do one last year? I'm trying to see. Did they do a celebrity wing last year?
Because after a while, it's like you kind of run out of all of them. Right. Let's see. Last year was Paul Heyman, Bull Nakano, Thunderbolt Patterson, Leah Maivia. Oh, that's The Rock's grandma. The U.S. Express was the tag team. Celebrity was Muhammad Ali last year.
Okay.
That's right. Oh, that's right. That's when The Rock got his own custom belt, the People's Belt. So I don't know. They might try to get one more person in. So I don't know if there's anyone else. Let's see. As of right now, yeah, Triple H, Michelle McCool, Lex Luger, and Natural Disaster. So
was there no Warrior Award?
Last year there wasn't.
Oh, there isn't.
There was not a Warrior War. I think they kind of stopped doing that one. Let me see. Because for a while there, let's see, in 2023 it was Rey Mysterio, Great Muta, Stacy Keibler, Andy Kaufman. Oh, Tim White got the Warrior Award. So, I don't know. Yeah, if they're going to do it or not, we shall see. But I do want to touch on, speaking of the WWE Hall of Fame class for 2025, as we mentioned, Lex Luger's going in. You and I expressed how excited we are for both that, or for him to go in. The big thing this week, though, Brian, was when Lex Luger was announced he's going to go into the WWE Hall of Fame, he revealed pretty quickly that he wants Sting to induct him. Right now, that's a little bit of an issue because Sting, while he retired last year with AEW and retired from pro wrestling, he's still under contract technically with them. Like, I don't know what the exact terms are. Is like a form of like a Legends deal with them or something? Do you know exactly what the details were or what that is?
I don't know the exact details, but I guess he's still under contract with them, and I guess you can call it like a Legends deal or something like that.
Yeah. So it's just it's right now. Just a lot of people are online are like, okay, will AEW allow Sting to go to enemy territory, the competition, WWE, and speak at the Hall of Fame? And there's a lot of people says, please, Tony Khan, let Sting go to speak at Lex Luger's thing, because especially Lex Luger was at Sting's last match at Revolution, AEW Revolution last year, with that match with Darby against the Young Bucks. Lex Luger was there, but he was not allowed to be seen on TV. I think that what it was, because he had a Legends deal with WWE.
Yep.
So that's kind of like one example. Like, well, Tony Khan technically could be like, no, I don't want you guys can't use Sting, because we asked to have Lex Luger come to our event. You guys wouldn't allow him to be on TV. So, eye for an eye type thing. I don't know. What's your feeling on this whole Sting Lex Luger situation?
I feel like if I was a businessman and if I was deep into this war, I guess you can call it, with WWE, I would probably do the same thing that they did to me, which is, yeah, he can go and he can attend, but he can't be on TV. But I don't think, part of me feels like Tony Khan would love to do that, but I feel like he has a lot of love for Sting, and I'm sure he's got a lot of love for Lex Luger. We all know Tony Khan is a wrestling head, so I know that those same Nitro moments that I have, I know he shares a lot of the same.
Yeah, he's our age. Yeah.
So I feel like he would do it just to be like, look, guys, see, I'm not the bad guy.
I'm playing fair.
Yeah, it's
be
them. I'm being a bigger person. I'm all for the legacy and the career and the honor and the respect and love, and so I'm not gonna let my frustrations or my hatred toward the people in the office over there get in the way. I think Tony would love to do any and everything with WWE in a collaborative effort if he could, but obviously WWE don't play that way. But yeah, I don't know, man. I would love to see Sting up there to induct Lex, because who else? Who else?
Yeah, I think the thing here is I wonder if like there's could be certain conditions, like Tony could be like, all right, Sting, you can do this, but you got to tell them they need to introduce you like wrestling legend from AEW, Sting. Like they have to mention AEW in the introduction. Maybe that's one way to kind of get some free advertising for their product. and maybe that's one trade off. But yes, like in a perfect world, you would.
Can you imagine Michael Cole or Graves, AEW wrestler Sting, here to induct our next inductee?
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. It's like I wonder could they some form of compromise. But you're right. Like technically, Tony Khan doesn't have to allow this to happen. He could be like, "Screw you guys." Like you said, we wanted to show Lex Luger on TV during Sting's final match, but you wouldn't allow it. So why should I play ball? But yeah, he could be the bigger person. Be like, you know what? Here, yes, you can use him. I want to keep Sting happy. I don't want Sting to get pissed off at me or show any resentment towards me because I didn't allow this to happen. The other thing too is I know some people could be are trying to be in Tony's corner and be like, don't allow it because WWE is playing a little hardball right now because as it's announced, All In this year is going to be in Texas, and then WWE just announced like a Saturday night's main event, I believe that same weekend. So they're like, okay, like they're counter programming or counter programming with an event that same weekend. Is it the same? Is it in Texas as well? Or
I think it might be in Texas. I'm not sure.
Okay. But then also later on, Forbidden Door is going to be in Europe next year, right? Is that, or it's not, or this summer?
This summer, yeah.
And then WWE just announced, because they're in Europe right now doing a big European tour. They just announced they're going to return to Europe later on this summer, and it's going to be the same time frame when AEW Forbidden Door is taking place. So it's like they're counter programming, doing counter events to the competition. So this is an example of people like Tony Khan can be like, F you, WWE. You guys are messing with my company. Why should I lend you one of my guys to go to your event? Like that. This is not fair. So I can see Tony saying no, and he has every right to based on that stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, these are people here. These are important moments in people's careers that you want to honor. So I just think for the fans, that's the best thing here. It's make the fans happy, make Lex Luger happy. So I just hope they let Sting go.
See, and I forgot to, like, you got to think the fans. I think Tony Khan is all about the fans in that regard. Like, I don't think he would want to, you know,
ruffle any feathers
as the bad guy here, ruffle any feathers, or make, you know, fans who want to see something like that happen, because that's just not his style. That's not his MO. That's not how he works. That's not how he does business. I do want to know, like, who talks during these negotiations? Is it Triple H and Tony? Is it Tony and Nick? Is it, like, who is it? I was just thinking about that just now. So I wonder who has to be on the phone. Is it Triple H, Tony, and Nick? Is it Nick and Tony? Like, it's crazy.
Maybe I'm sure maybe Sting has an agent, and that agent talks to like the person overseeing the Hall of Fame. They might have someone specifically like handling the whole Hall of Fame ceremony and planning that out. So maybe it's like the agent and that person talking, and then they relay messages. Yeah. They're like the messenger for all that stuff. Yeah. So
middleman.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens next there. You know, hopefully, Lex Luger can get his wish and have Sting induct him. That'd be really cool. And this would be cool to see WWE use him in some capacity. Also, it was announced this week. So last week we kind of went over all the major events happening in Las Vegas for WrestleMania 41. They announced another event. It's called WrestleMania After Dark. It's coming to is it LIV?
Live. I think it's pronounced Live.
Live. Okay. Yeah. Which is a club inside Fontainebleau, the Fontainebleau Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So the Fontainebleau, that's like now the official hotel for WrestleMania this year.
I guess.
So I'm guessing that's where all the wrestlers are going to stay. So that's where all the fans are going to be hanging out in the lobby down there, trying to get a photo, autograph, all that stuff. It's always funny. Where there. Yeah, I mean, Brian, as you saw when we were in LA a couple years ago, like when the people figure out which hotel the wrestlers are all staying at, everyone goes in there, and eventually the hotel needs security. Like you need show your key card to be allowed into the building or to the hotel. and everyone hangs at the bar trying to meet someone. Or hang by the elevators, wait for someone to come on and off the elevator, get an autograph or photo, paparazzi type stuff. So it's gonna be interesting. But so this after dark thing, it pretty much looks like club parties at a club inside the hotel Fontainebleau. So it's gonna be Thursday, April 17th through Sunday, April 20th. As far as WWE wrestlers go, so Charlotte Flair, Rey Mysterio, Bianca Belair are gonna be night 1 that Thursday. Liv Morgan, Braun Breaker, night 2 that Friday. Saturday the 19th, you got Jimmy and Jey Uso with Machine Gun Kelly. I think Kevin Owens needs to show up and powerbomb him again through a table. And then Sunday, April 20th, it's going to be Damian Priest, Tiffany Stratton, and Gronk. Yes, Gronk used to be in the NFL, Tom Brady's tight end. So, Brian, my kind of reaction is, okay, you got Charlotte, Ray, and Bianca on that Thursday. I'm sure they're like, okay, we need some star power there. So, but you guys do Thursday. So that way, you guys won't be tired. You have like a day to rest on that Friday. But then again, Charlotte's gonna have to probably work that Friday night SmackDown and then maybe compete that Saturday. So that's gonna be a busy day for her. I'm guessing Braun Breaker, if he's gonna be Friday, I'm guessing maybe does that reveal the IC title match is gonna be on Sunday because this here, it says 10:30 to 4 a.m. these parties. So Braun Breaker's up till 4 a.m. on that Friday night. He must be wrestling Sunday then. That we have Saturday to sleep in at least.
Right. Then, unless they're gonna make them go for like 10 minutes and then they're gonna send them on their way, which I highly doubt they would advertise them. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be there for a good chunk of the party. Especially because especially like leading up to it, they're going to want to, promote.
Yeah. Well, and then so my big thing is, so that Saturday 19th, you got Jimmy and Jey Uso there. I think we all assume Jay versus Gunther is going to be night 1 that Saturday. So I'm just anticipating this could be a celebration party. If Jey Uso wins the world title, this could be his celebration party that night.
I can see it now on Raw the night after WrestleMania, them showing footage from the WrestleMania After Dark party.
Oh, totally. They're all eating in the club. Machine Gun Kelly's going to be eating. I see it all now. It's like so obvious what's going to happen here.
Yep.
And then the other thing too, so that's Sunday, the Gronk party. You got Damian Priest and Tiffany Stratton. I'm just calling it right now. So maybe Damian Priest, if he's doing this on Sunday, maybe the match with him and Drew happens on Saturday instead. And then Tiffany and Charlotte, maybe their match is on that Saturday. So that frees up the Sunday to go to this party. So that's just my guess there. So I know they have not officially announced what matches that have been announced for WrestleMania are happening on what night. On all the flyers and graphics on WWE.com and social, it says both nights still.
What do you think about that? Do you think that's a good idea? I mean, as a fan, I'd never really liked them waiting so long to announce what matches are going to be on what night because, as a fan, it's like I want to know what matches. I mean, outside of the
main events,
the main events, the WWE Championship match, it's like I would like to know what matches are going to be on what night. Do you think that's do you like that, or do you think it matters?
Well, no, you're right. It's a little annoying because, like, let's say we all know the tickets are really pricey now, and so some people maybe can't do the combo. Can't go do Saturday and Sunday. They can only afford one day. So out of the 2 days, I'm sure a lot of people will just pick Sunday if we want to see Cody versus John Cena, like the main event for that night of night 2. A lot of people say that's the true main event of WrestleMania, even though it's 2 nights. But then again, there might be some people who want to see Jey Uso have a chance to win the world title. We assume it's going to be that Saturday, so maybe a lot of people are going to pick Saturday to see that historical moment. It'll be interesting, but I'm with you though. So if you're someone trying to decide which ticket to buy, if you can only afford one night, I think WWE should like advertise sooner which night they want to they're going to buy tickets for, what matches are happening on what night, so the consumer, the fans, can decide early what tickets they want to buy for what night for. So
they must really have really great success on the combo tickets, because nowadays those are the ones that go on sale first, and then the individual ones I feel like don't go on sale for another like month or two. But I just wondered,
no, it's really trippy, man. Like, really, this is like 5 days of events between Thursday, well, this club thing, but Friday SmackDown, NXT, WrestleMania Night 1, that's Saturday, Stand and Deliver, I should say. Night 2 on Sunday, Raw After Mania on Monday, NXT on Tuesday, and then you got the Hall of Fame ceremony, you got the roast, you got all these After Dark things. So wait, this After Dark thing will happen same time as the roast on that Sunday. So, man, they got events all over. They really are taking over Las Vegas with events all over the place.
That's what I was gonna say right now. This is a really cool idea, and I always go back to just, I guess, the business model, or the things that Nick Khan was talking about before he like 100% took over and TKO thing happened. Like, just the fact that ever since he's been in WWE, he's gotten them involved in a part of things like this, and for them to do this WrestleMania After Dark thing, it's pretty much like it's like their thing now, as opposed to, I remember one year they sent them to Rolling Loud, and
that's right,
like as a
Bianca Belair and Street Profits went out there.
I feel like this is a really I feel like this is really cool, because then you have like a lot of like just casual people who go to these clubs and just want to hang out and party, and especially wrestling fans who don't normally have things to do and places to go during these big weekends. Everyone usually just goes. It's like the same thing. They go to the World or Access, right? And then they go to a lot of the indie shows, the indie events. But there's some people who might not want to go to all the indie events. I really think that this is WWE's way of saying, don't go to that. Don't go to that indie show.
Well, no, I mean, and that's what we said last week on the episode was, whenever city WrestleMania is in, during those dates, so many other wrestling promotions use that opportunity to put on events in that same area, because they know that city is going to be filled with thousands and thousands, so many wrestling fans. And this is for them, their big opportunity to take advantage of that saturation of so many wrestling fans in one city. They're like, let's get, how I want to phrase it. I mean, let's take advantage of that and run our own events and try to get some, make some money off this too. So yes, like WWE has their own set of events, but yes, so many independent wrestling promotions will run shows in the outside surrounding area. I know in the past, TNA have done stuff, MLW, AEW in the past, they didn't do shows, but they did like their Ring of Honor shows out there for a while. And New Japan did some stuff as well. GCW. So a lot of these other promotions will do events in that area just to capitalize the fact that there's so many wrestling fans in one city. It's like everyone can have a piece of this pie come WrestleMania week.
I don't know if we mentioned it last week or not, but I saw something. Is it GCW that's holding the show WrestleMania weekend, and that's where the WWE ID championships are going to be?
Champions I don't know.
Are going to be crowned. I swear I saw something like that. Like, I think at a GCW show, that's where the WWE ID champions will be crowned. I think that weekend, I think WrestleMania weekend, something like that.
Okay, that'd be cool. But you brought up a good point, Brian. Like, because of all these other non-WWE promotions and shows, WrestleCon, everything taking place there, WWE's like, let's make sure all these WWE fans have as many wrestling events or events we put on to keep them occupied and not go to any competition out there. So I'm with you. Like, Nick Khan, I'm sure he's trying to these are all events and stuff and ways to make WWE more mainstream and appeal to the common, more casual fan. And I'm curious how many WWE fans are going to go clubbing.
I know. I can see it now. Like, it's what we just talked about with the with Jey Uso, like anywhere where they can go and hear some WWE themes
in a club. Will this
club.
counter like Wale Mania? Does Wale Mania gonna happen?
Oh,
I just thought of that because Wale Mania was usually the big club event in WrestleMania weekend, but it's not WWE sanctioned. I don't know.
Probably.
Maybe that's the thing. They saw the popularity of Wale Mania and like, let's capitalize on that and do our own version after dark. But you're right. No, I think WWE's like, let's put on as many events as we can, keep the fans busy with like our this WWE umbrella that is taking over Las Vegas. So yeah, I'm curious to see.
They're gonna have that drone going everywhere in Las Vegas.
I know, and just the social media clips. It's gonna be it's gonna be a lot of coverage out there. So all right, one other thing touch on real quick, kind of some shocking news came out earlier today. Gail Kim, along with a handful of other employees for TNA, were fired. And that's really shocking news. This report is from Fightful.com, and the article here says TNA makes some major changes. As reported by Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp, TNA sent out an email saying that Gail Kim, Ariel Scherner, hope I'm pronouncing that right, Rob Kliqman, and Michael, Shuniko, hopefully I'm sorry if I butchered that, are out of the company in a round of firings. Kim had been involved with talent relations, and she was also working as a producer. Scherner had been overseeing all content, and he worked closely with TNA president Anthony Shinone. I'm totally butchering that name too. Shinone on all talent creative decisions. Kliqman had been the chief revenue officer at Anthem Sports Group, while Kliqman was the vice president of digital operations. Wow. Shocking news right there, and they have a copy of the email here. Mike Johnson, PW Insider, reports that Hunter Johnson, also known as Delirious, will head creative, and Tommy Dreamer will continue in his role on the team. They will report directly to Silva. Dreamer will also head talent relations following Kim's departure. Wow. Okay. Wow. Senior Vice President of Digital David Clevenger will be starting in April as well. Senior Vice President of Sales Nicole Rasheen has already started with the company this month. It sounds like, based on my experience working kind of in that corporate world, let's see, some people are like merging jobs. So I wonder if this is like some form of cutbacks to kind of save some money. So it's like we're letting go of this person and you're going to absorb their job, their position. But then Tommy Dreamer will help with creative and do talent relations as well. So Tommy Dreamer's role seems to be expanding with TNA. So I wonder if we're going to hear more Busted Open to talk on TNA moving forward. Yeah. But yeah, no, the big thing here is just Gail Kim being fired. That's the big shocker, and that's the big takeaway here. Everyone's a little upset with. So yeah, your thoughts on this firing?
I thought it was, I mean, it's surprising just because, especially as of late, I know like for a long time, everyone has associated Gail Kim with TNA, but even as of late, like over the years, the changes they've made in the women's division, the popularity, how much she's done as like just someone backstage who has fought for the women's division, whether it be as a coach or just as a mentor, or just, creatively. I thought it's kind of crazy. I thought it was fake at first until I saw an actual like real report. I was like, okay, wow, that's bizarre. And then I seen like a bunch of like, opinions and fake news and saying, oh, it's WWE's fault. I'm like, what? And so that it had me looking. I'm like, wait, what happened? What did WWE do? Right? And I'm just like, oh, okay, I think people are just talking. But it's sad because I feel like TNA is in a really great place right now.
Yeah.
The women, especially for the women, I feel like with the partnership that they have with WWE and having NXT come over and do things, I feel like a lot of the women are kind of heading that job. Like it's a lot of more women from NXT and from NXT, and from TNA have gone back and forth, and I don't know, it's just kind of bizarre. It's weird, You know, it makes you think like what's going on over there. Like you said, maybe it is cuts, but Gail Kim of everybody, anyone who they could have let go.
Yeah, I'm trying to like read over this article again. So yeah, no, the thing with Gail Kim, she is hands down, arguably one of, if not the best, female wrestlers of her generation. Like what she did in TNA back in the day put women's wrestling back on the map. While WWF or WWE were doing kind of like bra and panties matches and stuff like that, Gail Kim was carrying it up in TNA with Awesome Kong and putting on incredible matches there and other matches with other female wrestlers. And you're right, putting female wrestling on the map. It's like, yeah, we can go just as good as the men and bring a lot of attention there. And then as she transitioned to more behind the scenes role, as she, later in her career, it looked like she helped maintain that strong women's presence in TNA and building up a strong female roster. And there was a point there, TNA had like the best female roster in all pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now you can make the argument NXT has the best one or most deep one right now, but yeah, back in the day, TNA had arguably the best women's roster in all of pro wrestling, and Gail Kim was a part of that. And because of that, I think she is, well respected, well loved for her work, and a lot of wrestlers respect her. So with her being in talent relations, I'm sure she was like helping, like negotiate bringing people in, and trying to lure wrestlers over there. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of wrestlers that sign with TNA because of her. They respect her as a wrestler and what she contributes to the business. So when a legend is asking you to come work for their company, you take that seriously and then probably in some ways feel like it's an honor. So losing that might be tough for TNA. Like maybe unless Tommy Dreamer, he's a legend in his own right. So I'm sure he can negotiate and try and bring people into TNA as well. But, losing Gail Kim, that might be tough for trying to build in or bring in more female wrestlers to TNA because she was such a strong face of that time period. So it might be a little bit tough for TNA to lure in some female wrestlers because, like, no, Gail Kim's not here anymore. I don't want to work there. So, hopefully they didn't shoot themselves in the foot with this move here and kind of screw over TNA. And hopefully, maybe they can get some more female. And I'm sure some people worry, like with her gone, will TNA still have a strong focus on the women's division as well?
Right.
Because that's been a big critique with AEW, even WWE lately. WWE hasn't, have gone in cycles of not focusing as much on the women's division. So we'll see what happens. I hope Gail Kim lands back on her feet quickly.
Yeah.
I'm maybe WWE can like put a call out and she would be great to help that women's division at NXT. Imagine her mind there. Maybe it was a coach or producer or something for that women's division, helping Shawn Michaels. Ooh, man, that could be some great potential there. So just saying. And as we see from
everything, she'd be a great addition. Even on the main, I feel like even on the main roster, she'd be fantastic.
But then again, it'd be interesting because they got that working relationship with WWE and TNA. So she jumped with one company to the other and still may have loosely connected. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So I wish nothing but the best for Gail Kim, and it sucks for anyone to lose their job. All right, Brian, I know we're running kind of long already. I know we want to talk about the build to WrestleMania. There's been a big dialogue online if this is been one of the worst builds to a WrestleMania, just feeling lackluster, doesn't feel that exciting. I think just for time constraints right now, let's kind of just use that conversation as we recap the highlights from Raw and SmackDown, and we can kind of like we did last week. That's the overall narrative is like as we're discussing like the big takeaways from Raw and SmackDown. Does this help or worsen the build to WrestleMania? So is that cool? We'll focus on that. So all right, let's go ahead and talk about Monday Night Raw this week. Happened in where was it? SmackDown was in Italy. Scotland. That's right. So big thing from Raw this week started out once again with John Cena coming out to cut his second promo as this current version of a heel. And let's go ahead and just recap kind of the highlights, what he said in this promo here. Where is it? I have it. Once again, yes. Well, first off, shout out Pat McAfee. He wasn't there on Raw last week. Corey Graves actually filled in, which was kind of nice seeing Corey Graves back on Raw television doing play-by-play. We haven't seen him in a minute there. He's been on an NXT lately. But Pat McAfee made the trip overseas to be with Michael Cole, so that was cool. So yeah, John Cena came out to the ring. Crowd once again was booing very loudly. He knew the crowd was ready to do their worst because he turned the spotlight on them. They knew he would pick them out individually and rip them to shreds. No one was safe, not even the clueless kid from last week. His poor, pathetic face was everywhere. WWE even posted it, and the fans all loved it. The crowd chanted "F you" to John Cena. So it was interesting. John Cena brought that up. He spun it around on the fans. He's like, "You guys are just ridiculous. Like, I made fun of one fan, and you guys laughed at that and embraced that and posted him everywhere. Shows how terrible people you are."
Yeah,
very, very interesting reverse psychology right there. I did enjoy that part.
Mm-hmm.
Cena would tell the truth. While the best idea the fans had was to use profanity, they memed a defenseless kid getting destroyed, so he didn't need to single out anyone tonight because they're all horrible people. Instead, they'll all pay for the abuse they put him through. So let's see. He listened to their lies and their noise for 25 years. He didn't waste time being mean like them. He paid attention. The crowd chanted, "Shut the F up." He said he has been learning from the fans and testing them all the time. They told him everything about themselves, but they didn't know anything about him. So that was kind of interesting. John Cena said that, like, during the last 25 years, he's been like studying the crowd and how they treat him during specific moments throughout his career. And so he's been doing like this long-term deep dive, analyzing the WWE universe. I thought that was interesting to hear.
Mm-hmm.
He then revealed their lives were sad. This, being the fans, was the best it would get for them. They have nothing but they were nothing but an experiment for him. Rats in a cage. Pick out any moment in his career, and he could tell them what he learned about them. When he bled, talking about the match with JBL back in the day, 20 years ago, they thought he was tough. When he spoke, they were inspired. When he was edgy, they were excited. When he was vanilla, they were bored. When he spoke in rhythmic tones, they said what? And it was interesting, as he changed, as he was talking, the crowd started doing what? And he's like, he played along with that perfectly.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. Like, he knew how to handle the crowd. Like, he's like, you guys are proving my point. You guys are doing that dumb what chance right now. Just because I'm speaking in a rhythmic tone, you guys are idiots responding to that. So I thought that was that was a smart move on his smart or playful way of teasing them. They would always tell him everything about themselves because they wanted so desperately to matter. The most important thing they told him was in April 2005, when he gave them the WWE Spinner Championship, they ate him alive for it. He turned their belt into a toy, and they didn't like that because the championship wasn't a toy. He disrespected tradition. That was the biggest mistake they made. They told him what meant most to them, and now that he knew that, he was going to ruin wrestling. So I thought that was interesting. He's talking about the spinner title that he debuted back in the day. First, it was the U.S. title, spinner belt, and then he transitioned to the WWE Championship. Were you a fan of the spinner title back in the day?
I was. I liked it. I always wanted one. You know, I never got me a spinner championship, but I always wanted one, and I thought it was cool. It was nice and heavy and spinny. You know, I was a big 50 Cent G Unit fan, and I remember 50 Cent used to have the G Unit piece. It used to spin, and I remember I got me a fake one, I think from like the 99-cent store or something. I don't know, but I was a fan, man. I remember I used to I had like 4 of the foam toy spinner championship belts.
Really?
I had like 4 of them because like I kept like I used to spin it so much it used to like fall apart. So I was like, I gotta go get another one and another one. I never got the real one though.
It was interesting because the spinner belt lasted for a long time, but eventually, like halfway through its existence, they just stopped it. Like it didn't spin anymore.
Spinning. Yeah,
it was still the same design, but it just stopped
Yep.
spinning because then when other wrestlers would win it off John Cena, it just stopped spinning. And I actually got to hold the actual title once. The Miz and Alex Riley came by the station once when Miz was champion.
That's right.
And I ran the hallway. I have the photo somewhere online, but I ran the hallway to meet them, and the Miz was cool. It was like
Miz's logo was upside down, right?
That's right. I think so. I have to look for the photo. Yeah. I might have it right here, but I'll look that up. But Miz was like, "You want to hold it?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So I held it, and then oops, I think I found it. Let's see. Here we go.
The Miz. Nice.
It doesn't look like it's upside down there, but that was the spinner title. Oh, here, let me.
Wow. Okay.
See the glare.
Nice.
It says the Miz on there. So yeah, that was the spinner title. Let's see. Sorry, my brother's texting me, but that title was heavy. It was heavy, man. It was. I mean, like, listen, the spinning thing. I get it. It kind of fit John Cena's character because, like, it was a hip hop, like almost like had the big. Well, you say like G Unit. I thought of like Flavor Flav with the big clock, but like,
that's a good comparison too.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, in hip hop culture, like, it was like hanging around the neck and like spinning jewelry. So he turned that into the title, the championship. Hold on. Let's see. So he made it part of the belt. And made a part of the belt, so it was just cool. It fit his character at the time, and then as WWE, they took advantage of that and like made it a cool toy. So a lot of kids like yourself would play with it, and it became like a cool toy thing. So I'm sure they made a lot of money off that. And then and I know older fans, more traditional fans, hated it because like, what the F is this? This is look at my title. I will admit, the one thing I did like about it. Because like me, I love big gold circular plates. To me, I like that it was bright and like gold. So like from afar, like it stood out. Like when you get up close, you can see all the details with the diamonds and stuff. But like from far away, you could see it, and it was a big, heavy belt. So like, it was cool for what it was. But when CM Punk had his long 400 something day title reign, it was that same title as well. So it was around for like the latter part, the ruthless aggression era, and then into the early 2010s. So it had a long run there. So, but I'm glad Cena brought that up as an example, knowing how much the title means to the fans. And so he's going to use that as a way to get back at them. And so what do you think about this comment here that he wants to ruin wrestling? I feel like that's the big takeaway from this week's promo. I think last week's promo, he didn't like have a big, other than like calling out the fans, you people, he didn't have a major like tagline to take away from it. This week, the focus was the line, ruin wrestling. Let me go ahead and read this one other part here, what he means by that. He was going to ruin wrestling for every fan, wrestler for everyone. At WrestleMania, he would make history by winning a 17th championship. He would force them to forget about the fun machine Ric Flair, and they would forever say the name John Cena. Even worse, he would win the title, the center of every superstar and fan in the business, and he would retire with it. I'm taking it home with me. So what is your thoughts, Brian, that he wants to ruin wrestling, and by doing so, he wants to win the 17th title, so that way in the history books, it's his name at the top, and that way you would, for example, forget Ric Flair, and then his name is what everyone talks about moving forward.
It's difficult because when you look, I mean, it's hard to buy into that because I feel like a lot of people want him to win the championship anyways. A lot of people want him to get number 17. It's tough. The promo to me was good. I still have a little bit of trouble connecting with it, and in regards to it, like justifying why he did what he did at Elimination Chamber, and I'm glad he did mention that his intent is to win the 17 championship, which is he made that clear from the very beginning, right? But I don't know, man. I'm two ways with it. I like the promo. I thought it was good for any other program, right? For any other feud, which doesn't involve the final boss and doesn't involve selling your soul or anything like that. Like, that's a really good, generic promo for like a John
motivation.
Yeah, like for a John Cena heel turn that just happens out of nowhere. Like, if the heel turn happened at WrestleMania, and then the next night on Raw, and then a few weeks after that, if this is the type of promo that we're getting from John Cena, I would get it. I would understand it, right?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, so we touched on this last week. So it looks like this was the second of his 3 scheduled appearances on Raw leading up to WrestleMania. Next week in London, that's his final appearance before WrestleMania weekend happens. So these 3 appearances are going to be crucial as far as building up the match with Cody Rhodes. Last week, that first promo was really just about the fans, making fun of the fans, the typical you people from a heel explain why he's turned on them or he's mad at them. It was very like standard, like John Cena explaining why he's pissed off at the fans. And he brought up a lot of valid things from his career that he would be pissed off for, even though he was a babyface for so long. He brought up a lot of good talking points of why he's upset. This week, I was like, okay, what's he going to focus on now? He didn't get to everything I wanted to, which we'll focus on the good here, what we enjoyed about it, but we'll talk about what we didn't like afterwards.
Right.
I liked in this promo, he touched on the fans again, saying you guys are just terrible people because I've been studying you guys for so long, and here are my examples of why you're bad fans. With that being said, as I mentioned earlier, their connection to that WWE Championship is so important to them. He never forgot how much crap he got from them for making fun of him for making the spinner belt. So I love that the big takeaway from this promo is he's like, all right, since you guys don't like me, I'm going to ruin wrestling to get back at you. So I think I enjoyed that thesis for this promo, the focus here that he wants to break. This is also explaining why he kind of turned heel. He really wants to win that 17 championship.
Yeah.
I wish, I think when I was talking after the elimination review, I really hope Cena maybe he comes off as a heel, explain maybe he's desperate to win that title. So that's what he wants to break that record so badly. Like he's desperate to do so. That's why he turned heel. He turned to the dark side to accomplish that. We didn't get that like from him explaining that he's desperate here. He's more just he wants to stick it to the fans by ruining wrestling by winning that title. I enjoyed that at least he's explained himself that he really wants to win that 17 championship to stick it to the fans and that he's going to be the new number 1 name for the record for most title reigns out of anyone else in WWE. Your old favorite Ric Flair, he's going to be gone, forgotten about now. It's going to be me that everyone talks about. So that's an interesting position to take there. I do enjoy that. Right. He also added he was going to leave them. Oh, when he said he's going to win it and then retire. One thing that doesn't make sense is he already announced he's going to be wrestling all throughout 2025. So he's going to be wrestling through December of this year. So is he going to take the title and just retire that night, or he's going to hold that title and people have the next 8 months try to win that belt off him again before he retires with it. So maybe that's going to be a storyline moving forward. It's like his big goal is to retire as WWE champion and take that title away from everyone. And I guess the WWE championship, the lineage behind it is going to be gone, removed from the history books because he's going to end it, and they're going to have to make a new title to make up for it. Which is kind of silly because there's been other guys who've wrestled and had to retire with the title or gotten injured and had to forfeit it. You know, from a kayfabe standpoint, if he was to retire as champion, they can just say, all right, we're stripping him that title and we're going to crown a new WWE champion. So that's one little loophole I had there, like, you know, or one little issue that doesn't make fully sense. But I guess maybe for me, I think that kind of foreshadows he's going to win at WrestleMania. He's going to be champion throughout most of this year. And that's going to be the big challenge for all the baby faces to go after him. They want to be the one to get that title off him so he doesn't retire and take the WWE championship with him. Very similar to like CM Punk's MO with Money in the Bank in 2011 or 2012? 2011 when he threatened like to leave WWE as champion, take that title with him, go around the world. But so we'll see how that plays out. He then added he was leaving them to make a brand new toy belt because the real one was coming home with him. I will be the last real champion in WWE. Revenge is best served cold, and I pay you back by ripping your heart out and forcing you to watch as I just walk away with your memories, with your traditions and your dreams. And there's nothing you can do to stop me. So, like I said, I think that's his mission statement. He wants to break the record, to stick it to the fans, that he's the new number one guy that everyone has to talk about in the record books. But also, he wants to retire with that title. So he takes away that championship that they all love. And it's like, you guys suck. You lose. I take it now. End of story. Right. So that'd be interesting there. So is there anything else from that part of the promo that stood out for you?
The last real champion part.
Okay.
that automatically gets me excited just for the possibility of, okay, maybe this is going to be more interesting than I thought, because I just thought initially that John was going to go on this huge run for a whole year, chasing the championship, maybe not win it until like, you know, a few weeks before his retirement. And then, you know, then he'll lose it before he actually retires, or it'll extend his time and he'll just remain champion and remain active until he actually loses the championship. You know, almost Flair style, how he was forced to, every match was a career match for him. But I was gonna say that could be an interesting storyline, is like towards the end of the year, it's like, I'm gonna retire as champion. So it's almost like those final matches could be kind of like career on the line at that point. Right. I think you know, the last real champion thing, it's kind of like when he says he ripped the fans' hearts out, it's just kind of like, it makes sense to an extent where it's like, okay, he understands that the fans don't like it when we have a champion, let alone a part-time champion, who doesn't show up, who doesn't defend the title. We just went through that for I don't know how many years with Roman Reigns. And you know, and we had to create the World Heavyweight Championship because of it. So him saying like, look, you're gonna have to create another one. In fact, you're never gonna see this one again. I think it ties into a lot of, you know, real issues that the fan has, and maybe this is what he's thinking in terms of being a heel. He's thinking, you know what, I'm gonna really hit them where it hurts, where I know it really affects and hurts them as a fan. These are the real things that bother them. The fact that I didn't change my gear, the fact that I didn't change my song, the fact that I'm just gonna take the title and I'm just gonna I'm either gonna go away with it or I'm gonna come back whenever I feel like it, or I feel like defending it. And you're just gonna if you want to see a championship match every PLE, you're gonna have to create a new one. Because been there, done that. John's been the guy to come back and defend it every week, every month, every night. He's there. And this time around, he's like, no, I'm going to do things my way. The only thing that I just want from John is to just tie it in with The Rock. Let us know that he's going to make you an even bigger movie star. And this is why you did it.
So like, okay, I like the mission statement here. Like I said, that he wants to ruin wrestling. His goal of winning that title is to ruin wrestling, stick it to the fans. So that's a new layer of why he's a heel now. But you're right. I enjoyed that part. What I don't enjoy, and this is us nitpicking, he still has not acknowledged why he aligned with himself with The Rock. And Elimination Chamber, The Rock gave the order, slit the throat sign when Cena was hugging Cody. His face changed. He turned serious. And then after they hugged and were separating themselves, that's when John Cena kicked Cody in the balls and beat the crap out of him and left him bloodied. So John Cena never explained why he did that. Like, why is he working with The Rock? And The Rock has like disappeared. The Rock has disappeared. He has not shown up since. Even like a social media video or cut up video promo for WWE, or shown up on Raw or SmackDown explaining himself why he did that, or why him and Cena working together, or Cena at least explain it on his behalf. Like, it kind of diminishes that big historical moment at Elimination Chamber because there's no follow-up to that. And that goes back, I think, to why a lot of people are a little upset with the build to this WrestleMania. We're kind of now developing these plot holes that are it's making it frustrating as fans. Like, there's no payoff to what we've been seeing on TV, or excuse me, I saw at Elimination Chamber. There's been no payoff these last few weeks since then. So it's really annoying. And I think that's part of why fans are feeling this has been kind of a lackluster build to WrestleMania. It's like you had this big historical moment that will go down in the pro wrestling history books, that something major happened at a show, but there's been no follow-up. So I don't know, did something happen? Like, The Rock is backing out of the storyline now? Is Cena doesn't want to acknowledge it? I mean, like, there's something going on here that we don't know fully about from like behind scenes creative. So but it's frustrating. It's like, you gotta finish off that payoff and explain, Cena, like, why did you follow The Rock's orders to take out Cody Rhodes? And yes, by working with The Rock, what do you get out of this? Is The Rock going to make sure you win at WrestleMania? Is he going to create like since he's the board of directors, he's like a big boss, the final boss, no pun intended. Is he going to create like a stipulation or add something to this match that is in favor of John Cena to help him win and set up these like impossible odds for Cody to overcome? Like, there's all these, there's so many questions here that they're not answering for us. And I think that's what's getting frustrating. Even the commentators, I wish the commentators to be like, okay, Cena, we heard what you had to say. Like, Michael Cole last week called out John Cena, like, how dare he say all that? The fans have been supporting him for 25 years. Yeah. Now he's saying all that's garbage, what he said. I wish Michael Cole,
as if it didn't happen.
Yeah, I wish Michael Cole this week said, come on, Cena, explain yourself. Why did you work for The Rock or something? Just acknowledge that so us fans can be like, what's going on? So hopefully next week on Cena's final appearance before WrestleMania on Raw next week in London, he explains about The Rock. So if you want to break this up into 3 major promos, the first one's about explaining why he turned on the fans or why he hates the fans now. The second one, it's his mission statement. Why does he want that title? What's he trying to accomplish? And then third, next week's promo, I hope he acknowledges and explains why he aligned with The Rock. Yeah. And that will kind of, I think, at least, sum it up better for us what we're getting here.
Unless in some way, shape, or form he feels like this is doing that would be giving the fans what they want too much. Yes. And so maybe he feels like he owes us no explanation and he's going to do what he wants when he wants. And we just have to just expect the final boss to show up whenever he wants, however he wants, because that's become a common thing over the last 2 years or so, or whatever.
All right, we'll talk about Cody Rhodes. So he comes to the ring.
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes told Cena he couldn't take the belt away from the fans without taking it from him first. Cody could see that Cena was being sincere. Cena was angry and dangerous, but he made a massive mistake. The mistake was not that Cena hit him with the belt in Toronto. It was saying what he just said to these fans. Cody said Cena should know how hard he had to Cody said Cena knows how hard he had to fight just to hold this belt one time, finishing his story last year. Cena thought the timeline of professional wrestling hung in the balance because of his vanity. I like that, the balance of the the timeline of professional wrestling. It's in Cena's hand. Cody laid the belt down and told Cena he could try taking it right now. Cena acted for a moment like he might fight Rhodes, but he left the ring instead. And Cody told Cena that his psychotic need to take the belt did not outweigh their need to keep it. The champ was standing in the middle of the ring while Cena walked away empty-handed. That is how Cena will walk away at WrestleMania, and that is how he will walk away from WWE. So Cody, confronts Cena once again and says, "How dare you?" I'm just a paraphrase. "How dare you threaten to take this title away from the fans? But you got to take it away from me. This means a lot to me because while you're trying to break number 17, I only won it one time. This is really special to me, and this reign's really special to me. It's going to take a lot for you to take this away from me in my title reign, my first title reign." And then, laid the belt down and challenged him, but then Cena walked away. I think another issue, people are getting frustrated with the build to WrestleMania, specifically with this main event here. They haven't got physical yet with each other. And two, Cena has not responded to Cody in the ring. Like, they have not had a promo going back and forth. It's been Cena by himself talking to the crowd. Cody comes out, confronts him, and then Cena leaves. So I think people want to see Cena and Cody go back and forth word for word.
Maybe that's another thing. I know I keep saying this, but maybe I can totally see John Cena in a year or two sitting down, having an interview, and explaining why he didn't do any of these things, and he'll say it's because that's what the fans want. That they want to see me go head to head with Cody in a promo battle. They want to see us do that. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to walk away.
I mean, I kind of wonder if they're trying to protect Cody Rhodes here because back in the day, Cena tore up Roman Reigns. Remember when Roman Reigns and him were having a promo and Roman Reigns forgot his line and Cena's like, "Come on, man, I'll wait. You want to take my spot? You gotta be able to talk on cue." I'm just paraphrasing here, and he says, what was the phrase? He's like, "Me working part-time, I have to work part-time because you guys can't do the job full-time," or something like that.
Something like that. Yep.
I'm totally paraphrasing that too. But no, it's interesting that also, Cena versus The Rock, where Cena called out The Rock for having his promo written on his wrist. And he also had a great battle or a promo tearing apart The Miz. So Cena, when he's one-on-one with someone in the ring, he is known for tearing them apart. The only person that kind of kept up with him or didn't let it phase him was CM Punk. And, CM Punk's one of the all-time best. So I think people want to see Cody and Cena go back, word for word back against each other. We have not seen that yet. So it is a little frustrating. You see Cena come out, cut this heel promo. Cody comes out to confront him, and then Cena walks away. I think that's what people are getting frustrated. Unless they're just trying to space it out. So make next week's promo the big finale as far as the build of both of them in the ring at the same time. Hopefully Cody and Cena get to go back and forth. Hopefully Cena will also address why he aligned himself with The Rock. If we get that, then I think that will hopefully satisfy some fans and improve this build to this main event for WrestleMania. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So so that's what I'm getting at. I enjoyed Cena explaining what his motivation is, but there are still things he has not acknowledged or done yet in the ring yet. And I hope we do get some sort of brawl, them getting physical with each other next week. But then again, maybe they're doing that on purpose. They're like, we're not touching each other until the match itself in the ring. So I don't know. We'll see. But speaking of getting physical is let's see. So also Monday Night Raw, we saw Jey Uso and Gunther's storyline progress for the better in a positive way. And I do want to give Brian kudos. You last week, you kind of predicted this. So a lot of people have been really frustrated with the Jey versus Gunther storyline. Ever since Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble and declared he wants to go after the world title from Gunther, it's been kind of very formulaic and also kind of boring. It's been Gunther, big thing is like, I'm going to make you pay for choosing me because you're not at my level. You don't deserve a title shot. You're not the wrestler that I am. So I'm going to punish you by attacking you week after week and make your life a living hell. And for the most part, he's been attacking him here and there, put him in chokeholds, sleeper holds, while Jay's having matches with other people. Last week, you said, I think the best way to take it to the next level is Gunther's got to go after Jimmy, go after Jay's twin, and make it more personal by attacking his family member, his own brother, his own twin brother. And you mentioned that last week, and then sure enough, this week Jay was supposed to have a tag team match against it was against A-Town Down. Yeah. So he had a mystery tag team partner. Sure enough, it was Jimmy who showed up as a tag team partner. So first time in a couple years since we had the Usos tag up together. So that was a cool moment. And Jimmy doing his little dance in the ring. and so then the match happens. They win. Afterwards, Jimmy's on the steps with Jay backstage, and he tells him, man, like, what's wrong with you, man? You're like in a slump right now. And he's like, he screwed up. Jay said, I'm 3-0. I think he meant to say 0-3 against Gunther. Yeah. But like, he feels down. He feels like the odds are against him. They can't beat Gunther. And Jimmy's like his hype man, like, no, man, you could do this. You got to step it up. And then sure enough, he saw Gunther walking down the hall, and he went up to him, confronted him, and he slapped the hell out of Gunther. So, and Gunther just kind of smiled and walked away. So I imagine Gunther's going to get revenge and go after Jimmy and beat him up and piss off Jay more. And that will motivate Jay to really want to beat Gunther. So yeah, your thoughts on that whole thing?
I thought it was great. He told Jay he needed the right-hand man. He said he needs the main event Jey Uso. He needs that one to show up and go after Gunther. And yeah, outside of the botch, which I totally is just like, oh my God, Jay can't catch a break. I thought the moment was really, really good. Like I said last week, I feel like the only person who could bring it out of him, the only person who it's anybody from his family, especially his brother, can really bring out a different side of Jay from an emotional standpoint. And I feel like that's what Jay's lacking. He's very, very excited. He's riding a ride. He's coming out. He's eating every week. But he's come up short in not just in his character standpoint, right? Like as, Jey Uso, but just in general too, like, come on, us as fans, we want to see Jey Uso take it to Gunther. We want to see him start to take this a little bit more serious. This is the biggest match of your career, and you've worked really hard for this. And so I think now that Jimmy is like, hey, wake up. You can't beat him. This version of you can't beat Gunther. You're right. You're 0-3 against him. You can't. Not this one. You got to go get main event Jey Uso. You got to go get the right hand man. That's the one who pinned Roman Reigns, right? At Money in the Bank. The one who was this close to winning the title at SummerSlam. That's the one who needs to show up. And I think we're gonna get it because I seen some people online saying that this match between Jimmy and Gunther needs to be a bloodbath. I don't know if it needs to be a bloodbath. No. I don't know if it needs to be a bloodbath, but I think Gunther needs to send just enough message to Jay, like, listen, like, this is gonna happen to you. Worse, I would love to see him. I think I referenced this. I'm not sure if I mentioned this last week. I would love to see him beat him up, like Taker, David Flair style. just beat up Jimmy.
Yeah, no, so I think that's what could happen is like let next week Gunther beats the crap out of Jimmy, like destroys him, busts him open, takes him out, and then that Jay gets fired up like, how dare you SOB, and like goes after Gunther, or Gunther runs off and like ha, and Jimmy is off TV for the next few weeks after that. And Jimmy makes his big return at WrestleMania to see his brother win. And like, that's how Jimmy returns to TV to celebrate with his brother to get the victory. But yeah, you're right. I think that's how you motivate Jay. But these segments alone, I think, is what got people excited again for this storyline. And that's what the storyline needs. And it looks like they're going to go that direction. So yeah, kudos to you, Brian. You foreshadowed that as a sidekick, what was coming up. So all good there. Next we saw Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, their segment here. And this is the one where, let's see, they were... Okay, so that's right. Adam Pearce was in the ring, and he said, listen, just because Rhea Ripley signed her name on the paper, it doesn't make it official. because when you have a contract, the names that are printed, who this contract's for, and you put the signature with it. That's who the contract's for. It was for Io and Bianca only. What Rhea did is not legally binding situation there. So, but sure enough, all ladies come out. Once again, they push Io to the side, and I'm like, no respect for Io, man. Like that was really annoying to me. It's like, I get it, Bianca and Rhea are bigger compared to little Io, but like pushing her around like that, man, show some respect to her. But I hope Io gets a receipt for that.
You know what I look at it and I see? It's like, don't they both want the championship? They should be looking directly at Io Sky at this point instead of neither one of them have the championship. Why are they arguing with each other?
Yes, I know. Let's see. So when they're all three in the ring, they all come out and once again they all interrupt each other and they're going back and forth. Io Sky, as a true fighting champion, she said she would gladly take on both of them. So I think that's kind of foreshadowing that's going to be a triple threat match. Let's see. Bianca Belair, she chimed in, said she wasn't happy that Rhea just kind of forced her way into this and looks like it's going to make a triple threat because like Bianca's like, I won the Elimination Chamber. I won to have a one-on-one match. What's Rhea doing is not fair. It's not right. So I agree Bianca's case here. And then Rhea comes out and says, I don't give a damn about WrestleMania. She didn't care who she had to face to get her title back. She wanted her rematch. So as we've seen in WWE television, a champion, when they drop the title, they supposed to get a rematch. They have a rematch clause. So it looks like Rhea's trying to enforce her rematch clause. So you see both cases. Bianca, the Elimination Chamber winner, supposed to get her title match. Rhea wants her rematch for that title. So Adam Pearce, he was just so annoyed, man. He was great acting here. He's just so frustrated. Let's see. So they all started arguing with each other. So Adam Pearce finally stepped in after they were fighting each other, and he announced that Ripley would get her title rematch against Io Sky next week. The winner will face Belair at WrestleMania. And so they started brawling again all over the place. And it was interesting, though, when Io Sky took out Rhea Ripley with the DDT, but then Bianca Belair took out Io Sky with the KOD. The crowd was booing her. Yeah, like I didn't like that Scotland was booing Bianca Belair, and this is technically three baby faces here. So I don't know, man. I don't like that. Come on, Scotland.
I don't think Scotland is forgiving Bianca. They know she's the reason why Naomi and her did this to Jade Cargill.
I mean, the segment was a little weak to me. It was just kind of like a repeat of what they did last week. All three in the ring, all three arguing with each other, all three presenting their case here of like this convoluted situation that they're in right now. Yeah. My guess, what's going to happen is next week, Io, Rhea are going to fight each other. It's going to be some wonky finish, or maybe they both pin each other. And
the one thing I didn't like was that Bianca was announced as the special guest referee. I was cool with this. I was cool with this match until they said Bianca was going to be the special guest ref, and I'm like, okay, well, that almost guarantees something's going to happen, which we.
That's right. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah,
but I would have much rather. I guess when you think about it, it's not that bad. I guess because there's got to be some type of reason why this match doesn't like get to a winner, and maybe I guess that's not that bad. Initially I didn't like it because it's just like, oh man, like why does she have to be the special referee in this?
You're right with her special guest referee, because that's right, Adam told her that, and she's like, I don't know the referee, I've never done it before, and he's like, you got a week to learn. So maybe Bianca does something in the match as a referee that causes to make this into a triple threat. So it's setting up something's gonna happen where Bianca screwed up as a ref, and maybe it's gonna be maybe a double count out. I don't know, something's gonna happen, and it's gonna cause this triple threat. So that's what it looks like they're going to do here. So it's I guess, as far as like I said, the build to WrestleMania, it's been okay. I mean, I felt this has been more entertaining than Charlotte and Tiffany, which we'll get into later on. But yeah, so it was okay. Like I said, I just don't like how they're disrespecting Io as the champion here in this situation. In the main event, though, we saw Braun Breaker defend the IC title against Penta. Great match here, but the Judgment Day got involved once again because Dom's been trying to recruit Penta into the Judgment Day, but instead, Braun Breaker wins because Dominic Mysterio came in and attacked Braun. So Penta lost by DQ, and then the Judgment Day started beating him down. Carlito, Dom, and Finn with the chair. Dom gave the chair to Penta and said, like, hit Braun. But no, he threw the chair at Dominic and kicked him in the face, confirming Penta is not going to join the Judgment Day. He's going to be still his own man. Finn hits a coup de grace. Wait, how do you say? Oh my god, coup de grace onto Braun Breaker. Which it looks like it's going to be set up a fatal 4-way. Finn, Dom, Braun, and Penta for the fatal 4-way. What are your thoughts on that?
I wonder what Finn's reaction is going to be when that match is finally announced, or what Dom's reaction is going to be, because it's kind of like, oh, we're both in the match. They are they going to go in it like working together? Like, hey, doesn't matter. Whoever Judgment Day wins, no matter what.
Yeah,
not going to be the whole thing. I thought it's too much. The segment was a little too weird for me. If they're doing a fatal 4-way, I would have rather maybe like the match just end on a high note, like Braun goes over clean over Penta. I know it's you don't want it's kind of weird to do that because he's been on such a roll, but you could use the fact that Braun went over on Penta clean as a way for Dom to be like, see, if you'd have took our offer, then you would be Intercontinental Champion by now, right? And then, or something like that. Or if you have to have Dom interfere, maybe like not a disqualification finish, like maybe just like a distraction, and then Penta gets sidetracked or something. But I thought the match was really good. Penta, for some reason, when I watch his matches every week, I'm also like, man, he's so versatile and so good. Like, I'm just like, he's been on such a high. When is something's bound to happen, right? Like, he just does everything so smooth. He's almost like watching Luka Doncic with the Lakers, right? Because
you mean Jimmy Butler with the Warriors?
But it's kind of like watching Luka. He's just very slow, methodical, but he gets it done. And so Penta, it'll be exciting to see him at WrestleMania in a fatal 4-way. I don't know, man. The build to this is kind of weird too, because it's like Dom and Finn are suddenly happy again, but neither one of you have the championship. So what do you have to be happy about?
Yeah, no, I guess what I'm kind of just frustrated is it's like, okay, if this is gonna be a fatal 4-way, it's a situation here with you and I were talking off the air. WrestleMania, they're trying to like create all these multi-person matches to get as many people on the show. And I think in some situations, WrestleMania, it's supposed to be rarefied air. It's like it's the best of the best who need to be on the show. Unfortunately, not everyone's gonna have a match on the show. I mean, case in point, it looks like Sami Zayn's not gonna be on WrestleMania. He has nothing lined up for him. And there's some other people on the roster who've been, busting their ass throughout the year who look like they're not going to get a match at WrestleMania. With the IC title specifically, I would really love to see a one-on-one match with Braun and Penta. I think that could have been a great WrestleMania match, one-on-one. But I get it. They're trying to like cram as many people on. And so getting Dom and Finn involved kind of gets more names on in the show. I guess for me, I would rather, I don't know, if we're going to make the IC title a multi-man match, shouldn't we put other people who maybe deserved it? Like, what happened to Sheamus and his whole storyline of trying to win the IC title, win the title? That's the one title he has not won. He's accomplished everything else in WWE, but except win that IC title. I thought that would be such a compelling story going into this WrestleMania, a story that they could have told, like finish his story of winning the IC title.
I feel like maybe he's lost too many of them, and they probably don't have the time to fit him in to win as many matches as he needs to in order for it to make sense for him to even get a shot again.
To build him up as a credible opponent.
Mm-hmm. Especially against Braun Breaker.
Yeah, so that's my thing. It's like I really wish, because they had a match at Saturday Night's Main Event, right? I think that's what it.
Yeah.
So
no, but then to that point, Finn ain't really been winning a lot either. So why does he just?
I feel like if it's gonna be a fatal 4-way, I really think Sheamus should have been involved in this and could have been the one to maybe win it and like have Dom or Finn eat the pin and protect Braun Breaker that way. So yeah, I'm like I said, yeah. So I'm a little frustrated there. Also, I'm just kind of frustrated with the Judgment Day. I feel like it's ran its course as a faction, and I think it just needs to end. And so maybe finally, with this storyline in the WrestleMania, this is what's going to be the thing that breaks up the Judgment Day finally and just ends it. They just have not felt the same ever since Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest left, which makes sense. They were the two like top dogs in that faction, but the faction that the state it's been in the last few months, it's just not been as compelling. It's like there's just been this ongoing tension for the group, and I feel like it's not leading to anything. It's like, just break up already. Like, okay, you guys are all annoyed with each other, or Finn's annoyed with the rest of the group. Like, either kick Finn out, beat him up, jump him, kick him out, or something happens here. So maybe we get that moment at WrestleMania. Maybe that's what's going to be like. Either Braun or Penta wins, and as they leave, then Dom and Finn finally have it out in the ring. I don't know. Like, it's just
maybe JD returns and he turns on Finn or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. I like I said, the Judgment Day storyline, it's running on fumes right now. And I think that's just an example of why people are like feeling underwhelmed with this WrestleMania. It's like, okay, you got a faction here that's like on kind of life support for its existence. And I think people want to kind of see this thing wrap up or come to a conclusion. Like, let's get to the next story beat with this Judgment Day. It's like lingering on for way too long. So we'll see there. Okay, I know we're running long here. Let's go ahead and jump over to Friday Night SmackDown. Let's talk about the highlights from Friday Night SmackDown here. The main event segment here, Brian, it was Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins having this promo with each other and ultimately set up a triple threat match for the three of them at WrestleMania. Pretty. I'll just turn it to you. What did you think of this main event segment here from SmackDown this past week?
I thought a lot of the stuff that was said was good. I feel like a lot of the, like, if you look back at it now, like a lot of the still shot photos that WWE has posted, I feel like those tell more of a story than what the three men did in the ring to sell the match. Like, it looks like Rollins and Reigns are against CM Punk, right? It looks like they're fed up. It looks like Rollins is trying to convince Reigns that, hey, we got to get this guy out of here. He's bad. He's a bad guy. Let's get him out of here.
Yeah.
And Punk is just so set on the fact that those two are standing in his way of being able to main event WrestleMania, let alone get a championship opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
They keep leeching off of him and they won't leave him alone. They keep bugging him. Mm-hmm. And Roman, I don't really know his direction here. I mean, he spoke about the Royal Rumble and how, it was Punk's fault and then it's Seth Rollins' fault. So they all have this thing going on with one another. So it makes sense that they're having a triple threat match at WrestleMania to settle the score, to end the beef between the three of them, get it all the way. I think they did a good job inserting Roman Reigns and having him acknowledge the fact that, hey, what they did at Royal Rumble, like, I can't let that slide. But it's just the way it came together on Friday was a little weird and almost unnecessary for everybody to kind of Roman to come out, have his little piece segment, and then Rollins came out, had his little piece, and then Punk came out and acknowledged the fact that he ain't doing this talking. He's gonna get to the fighting in a second.
Yeah, it was like I said, this was another underwhelming segment for me. I think all three of them kind of like low energy. I don't know if they were just jet lag from flying over to Italy last Friday for this show, but like none of them really said anything like, "Oh my god, what that was a great line." And I feel like there's so much history between the three of them that they did not tap into. Now, granted, maybe because they were just running out of time on the show, or maybe they're going to save some stuff for another week on SmackDown. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I did like the fact that Punk mentioned that neither Reigns or Rollins can beat him or have ever beat him without the other one being involved.
Yeah.
So I thought that was neat that he mentioned that. But
I guess for me, what I was hopeful for was, okay, Roman comes out first. Like, I feel like they're all just, like I said, low energy. Roman comes out first and, has the crowd acknowledge him. And then he talks about what's on his mind. Says CM Punk screwed him at the Royal Rumble. Because of that, Reigns wanted to screw Punk on Raw last week when he interfered in the cage match at Madison Square Garden between Punk and Seth Rollins. And then he said Seth Rollins tried to kill Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble when he did the double curb stomp. So that's why he's pissed at both of them. Punk eliminated Roman at Royal Rumble. Seth curb stomp Roman multiple times. That's why he's mad at both of them. Let's see. Which one with the other notes here? Seth then comes out and he says, hey Roman, you and I have a lot of history together. I think let's settle it at WrestleMania. So in that moment, I like how Seth was just trying to set it up as a one-on-one match there. Let's see. Rollins told Reigns that he messed up because he doesn't know. Oh, that's right. Rollins told Roman Reigns that he doesn't know how dangerous CM Punk is. Right. And Reigns should have left Rollins to let Rollins finish him when he had the chance. Because keep in mind, so Seth is pissed at Roman for having CM Punk help him at War Games, and he's mad that Roman pulled him out of the cage, and so Seth didn't have a chance to finish CM Punk at the steel cage match a couple weeks ago, because he just doesn't trust CM Punk and what he can do for the company. Let's see. Rollins said the story of Roman and Seth have a lot of pages already written. It's time to write another chapter. So yeah, it looked like he wanted to set up a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, but sure enough, CM Punk's music comes out, and as you said, I like how CM Punk immediately called out Roman Reigns, said, "Dude, you're mad at me because I eliminated you at the Royal Rumble. You moron! It's the Royal Rumble. Every man for himself. Like that's part of the rules of Royal Rumble." So I like how CM Punk kind of called out Roman, kind of like his reasoning for hating on CM Punk is terrible. So so I like that part. Punk reminded Reigns, at the Royal Rumble, every man for himself, and also that he saved his family's ass at War Games. Punk reminded Heyman that he owes Punk a favor. Punk said Heyman delivered Reigns on a silver platter, and Reigns looked confused as he stared at Heyman. So there's still some underlying stuff between Heyman, Reigns, and Punk here. Roman, I think, is going to get a little suspicious. And we know Roman, based on his character arc, he gets paranoid very easily. And that's one way to get under his skin is being paranoid. Let's see. Staring at Heyman. Punk then attacked Roman Reigns. Rollins jumped in. So it turned into a breakaway brawl with all the officials running out, all three of them. And then they all took turns pointing at the WrestleMania sign, which I'm just kind of over that initiative that everyone needs to point to a sign at one point to confirm that their match is going to lead to that at WrestleMania. I think it gets a little overdone. So,
they've been doing that for so many years. Oh my God.
So they just kept brawling, and they all pointed to the sign and it just went off the air. So I guess for me, why I felt this segment was a little weak, it just felt very surface level what they're all upset about. Roman's mad at Punk because he eliminated at the Royal Rumble. And I like how Punk responded. It's like, yeah, you idiot. It's the Royal Rumble. Every man for himself. You know, if we want to win, you got to eliminate people. And then Punk is mad at Roman because he doesn't like CM Punk. And it's like, why are you working with him? He needs to leave this company and go away. And CM Punk is mad at Roman and Seth. I mean, they have history there. But I feel like there's so much more they can tap into with this storyline. Like, I wish, CM Punk can say like, hey, I brought the Shield to WWE and I'm going to end it or something, like bring that up. Right. I wish, Roman will kind of acknowledge Heyman's like, what favor is this? What are you guys doing? Like, are you my guy or his guy? Right. Like, kind of create some drama between Heyman and Roman. That could be really compelling. Is there anything else? I'm trying to think what other storylines they could tap into with with Roman and Seth. There's so much with the Shield there. That's the thing I saw someone point out online. It's like Roman, if they want, and this might be real like insider talk, and I don't know if people would get it, but remember the Shield originally didn't have Roman Reigns. It was supposed to be Cassius Ohno in that spot. Right. So maybe Roman could call it CM Punk is like, you put the Shield together, but you didn't think I was good enough to join it originally. So every time I see you, I get pissed off at you because from day one, you didn't believe in me. You didn't believe in the tribal chief. So maybe that's another reason that motivates Roman Reigns want to take out CM Punk is because he knows that CM Punk doesn't like him or ever believed in him as a WWE superstar. So I wonder if that's something we could tap into as well. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just kind of curious what this favor is. Like, maybe the favor is this match is going to main event night 1 of WrestleMania. Maybe we saw this week on Raw, CM Punk cut a promo that there's going to be a contract signing on SmackDown. So he's going to show up there. Did you notice, this is kind of ironic, is Cody and Cena, their stories for the WWE Championship. Technically, Cody is a SmackDown competitor. Cena, I guess he can kind of float wherever. Theoretically, this is supposed to be a SmackDown storyline, but it's playing out on Monday Night Raw every single week.
Yep.
You look at Roman, Punk, and Seth. Aren't they all technically Raw superstars? But their storyline's playing out on SmackDown. So it's like it's the reverse. So maybe I don't know if it's a scheduling issue with John Cena, like you can only do Mondays. So they're gonna let that play out, and then the other guys are gonna use their star power over on SmackDown to spread the wealth for SmackDown. Right. But I noticed it's like, is this how the build's gonna be? It's like all three of them are gonna appear together on SmackDown, and then one of the other ones, Seth or CM Punk, is gonna appear on Raw to promote what's gonna happen on SmackDown. So last week in Brussels, remember Seth Rollins came out by himself and said, all three of us are gonna. Roman and Punk are giving me a SmackDown this week. I'm going to go and join them. So he just cut a promo to promote what was going to happen on SmackDown. Then this week, on Raw this week, Punk comes out by himself, does a solo promo, says, hey, we're going to have an old-fashioned contract signing on SmackDown this week with the three of us. So yeah, it's like they're using Raw for either Punk or Seth to do a solo promo, and then all three of them are going to do their stuff in the ring on SmackDown. So is this how the build's going to be? And like Roman, I think his last appearance is this coming Friday, I believe, or I don't know if they have announced anything other dates, but I don't know. Like, how do you feel? I don't know. I'm curious. And then I think CM Punk referenced he wants to look over the contract and make sure everything is what he wants. So I wonder if Heyman put something in the contract that's the favor as well. So maybe it's a main.
It would be nice, to get a championship opportunity or something.
Yeah, or maybe winner of the triple threat on the first night gets added to the Cody Rhodes John Cena match to make a triple threat for the WWE title. That could be interesting. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of lackluster because I feel like there's more they could have tapped into to get under each other's skin, but they just didn't do it. It was very surface level stuff here. So We'll see what SmackDown brings for this week. Also, real quick, I just want to touch on Tiffany Stratton, WWE Women's Champion, had like a split screen promo with Charlotte Flair. And man, Brian, listen, I know you're the biggest Charlotte Flair fan. I know. I'll turn it to you to break this down. But man, I'll just quick thoughts. Charlotte destroyed Tiffany in this promo.
She did.
What'd you think of this whole thing?
I thought it was fantastic. When I seen it, I immediately knew that, okay, some people aren't gonna like this. Some people are gonna think that it's good, all WWE's making a mistake. This is gonna make Tiffany look weak. But I mean, this is what Tiffany needs. Yeah. Right. She's the baby face in this situation. She is the champ, but she is definitely the underdog. Right. Regardless of what championship she holds, she's the underdog. And I felt like that's what Charlotte does. If you get into a promo war with her, because she's not just lethal in the ring, she's lethal on that mic. She's underrated. And I think a lot of people they don't really they bypass that just because it's like, oh, it's Charlotte, she gets whatever she wants. But she said a lot of things. I mean, Tiffany, she tried her best. And she did the old, hey, I'm not going to let you come in here. This is what you do. You attach yourself to the biggest thing. And she tried it. But at the end of the day, I look at it like this. Charlotte Flair is, she is who she is. She is going to be on the marquee. She's going to be pictures on the posters. She's going to be everywhere. She is the champion, regardless if she's wearing the title or not, in my eyes, especially. But I feel like Charlotte has earned that right. She's main evented many WrestleManias. She's had championship matches. She's won lots of championships. She's proven that she can get it done. Tiffany, Charlotte hit a lot of points saying that she had tried to attach herself and tried to say that they're alike, or she gets compared. And Charlotte's right. Everybody gets compared to Charlotte. Everyone we see come in always in one way, shape, or form gets compared to Charlotte. Like, is this person going to be the one to put Charlotte away? Oh, we have this person now. So Charlotte Flair, she can just go away now.
My thing is, I felt like this was just a test for Tiffany Stratton. It was a sink or swim moment. Can she handle a main event title program, especially a promo with a veteran who's as established as Charlotte Flair? Unfortunately, I think Tiffany failed here. Charlotte destroyed her. Now, granted, I don't know how this was laid out, but to Tiffany's defense, Charlotte was stepping all over her, cutting her off, and just had a response to everything Tiffany was trying to say. Now, granted, Tiffany was trying to repeat some lines, so I don't know if that was part of the script that she was just trying to remember, and those were the focus points that she was trying to get out there. But Charlotte, to her credit, she had an answer for everything, and that's just the experiencing. She's been doing this a lot longer than Tiffany, so she knows how to handle this situation better. And so, like I said, also, if this is her sink or swim situation for Tiffany, can she handle this? Or hey, you want to be the main event scene, you got to be able to handle this stuff. The problem with Tiffany, she's been a heel most of her time in WWE. And in this situation, she's playing the role of the babyface, which is not necessarily natural for her or what she's been brought up in the WWE system for. So to her defense, this is something she's not used to. And so she didn't really have a compelling defense as a babyface here. So that's why I think she also failed, because Charlotte as a heel was just destroying her. With that being said, the powers that be should have better prepared Tiffany as a baby face. But then again, like I said, maybe that's the test. They're whatever character role you're in right now, in this situation, you're baby face. Let's see you be able to handle this. But then again, I don't know, how this was scripted, but man, did they tell Charlotte just to lay into her and or did not tell Tiffany that? It just felt like Charlotte was stepping all over her and cutting her off, and Tiffany didn't have a chance to really respond, but when she did, it wasn't that strong. But like I said, Charlotte did most of the talking. But like I said, Charlotte brought up a lot of great points, counterpoints, and she really just stood out here. So I felt bad for Tiffany, but you're right. Like Tiffany, if you want to be at Charlotte Flair's level, you gotta meet her halfway or equally counter that, and she didn't deliver. So hopefully this was a learning lesson for Tiffany. She can build off this.
I'll add one more to it. I do think that Tiffany ended the promo as well as she could. I thought at some point she did kind of look shaky, like because Charlotte kept cutting her off, so she did kind of look like she was just trying to get out whatever she had scripted, or
she was trying to at least get her tagline. It's Tiffy time.
Right. I'll say this. I think Tiffany Stratton is going to be I think she's going to be underrated in terms of opponents for Charlotte Flair. First time, I guess you can call it rookie opponents. Tiffany's going to be underrated for sure. And I think she's going to stand out. And I think ultimately, like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Charlotte's going to win. Me personally, an early prediction, I think Tiffany's going to do it. I think she's going to be to defeat Charlotte at WrestleMania and prove, because I think she's that good in the ring. I haven't seen anyone. I mean, not to discredit Bianca and Becky and everybody else, right? But someone like Tiffany, who's as athletic as she is, and who doesn't really have many mishaps in the ring. Like whenever she's in the ring, she's on go mode. She's ready to go. She's taking risks. She's doing a lot of things that someone like her, as short time she's been in the business, in this position that she's in, they shouldn't be doing the things that she's doing, getting the reactions that she's getting. I don't think WWE is gonna not or ignore that. I think they also know, hey, she's getting the reaction that she's getting. I think the company is going to learn from the mistake that they made with Rhea Ripley, because you see how Charlotte beating Rhea Ripley in that first, what was it? It was the pandemic WrestleMania, right?
Or Tampa Bay, or the PC, the
PC. How that just depleted her momentum, and I mean, she had to really prove herself through the Judgment Day all over again. It shot her confidence, I think, too. So I feel like I don't think they'll make that same mistake with Tiffany. And as a Charlotte Flair fan, I have to say I hope they don't, because I think this Charlotte Flair is going to make her look real good on either April 19th or 20th. I'm excited for it. Just looking at Charlotte's face, I'm like, oh, she's so good. Like I feel like this. She came back at the perfect time. She's gonna put Tiffany over. She's gonna make Tiffany look like $1 million. Yeah, and I think she did the same thing for Rhea at WrestleMania in LA too. I felt like that was a really good match. Everyone walked away really happy from that match too.
Yeah, it was interesting. Charlotte explained why she picked Tiffany, because she just felt sorry for her. That was the one reason. Like that was it. Like come on, give me something better. But it is what it is. So yeah, I hope Tiffany can bounce from this, learn from this, and can come up with a better comeback moving forward on future episodes of SmackDown leading up to WrestleMania. So I think there's a big turning point. Kind of like how. Well,
I'm sorry. She has to get Becky Lynch on the phone and get some pointers.
Or exactly. Or like you saw, Roman Reigns got destroyed by John Cena years ago, and Roman Reigns said that was a big learning point or turn for him to get better. So Tiffany, this could be her version of that, to get better and like, hey, you guys don't doubt me. I am ready for this main event scene. So we'll see from that. Last thing, just want to touch on real quick. Braun Strowman took on Jacob Fatu. Solo came in, interfered, and cost Jacob the match. Braun won by disqualification. He's going to fight LA Knight for the U.S. title next week on SmackDown. Jacob Fatu was really pissed and called out Solo and was pissed off at him for interference. Like, this is my business. Stay out of my business. So I'm assuming this is going to lead to maybe a match between the two of them at WrestleMania. We shall see, but it looks like Jacob is about to. They're going to slowly break him off into his own thing. So I'm excited for that. So We're actually running long here, so we probably should start wrapping up for
sorry, Kliqsters.
So we hit that 2-hour mark, but we had a lot to talk about, and this will get you guys through the rest of this week. So let's start wrapping things up. Brian, where can the Kliqsters find you online?
Kliqsters, you guys can find me at BrianTronic everywhere, all the social media platforms.
And I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. For everything else, at In The Kliq on social, intthekliq@gmail.com. If you want to email us. And then, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a comment. What are your thoughts of the build to WrestleMania? Are you think you're enjoying the build? Is it underwhelming? Explain yourself in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up. Share the video as well. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line, because Huey said so.